Welcome back to Special Stage. Right now it's time for the Welsh Rally Championship. We're here for the final round in Llandudno for the Cambrian Rally. Luke Francis, local man, is of course one of the favourites for the championship. He comes here, one of the favourites for this rally as well, having been a previous outright winner a couple of years ago here on the seafront in Llandudno. Will it be celebrations again for the Francis family, or will one of the whole host of other competitors chomping at the bit for the title this year beat him to the final post? Stay tuned here at Special Stage for all the action from this exciting championship as it draws to its close.
On to the stages then, and it will be a new face at the top of the results as Matt Edwards and Will Rogers top the times at the midway point. But sadly for Matt, it was only co-driver Will that was here for the championship points. Of the regulars then, it will be Tom Norton and Andy Mort that top the times, leading the way in the Welsh Championship drivers and looking good for the result this weekend. They just need to get it to the finish in one piece. Matthew Robinson and Sam Collis have had a heck of a season and a good start to the day as well as they lead the way in the rear-wheel drive battle. The pair looking like ending that great season in style this weekend. Unfortunately for previous Cambrian Rally winners Luke Francis and John Roberts, the local crew, it will be a disappointing end to their event and their championship as they go out on stage 4 with a broken fuel tank. An unfortunate and very frustrating end to the season for the pair. Harry Gardner and Elliot Graham leave things to the final round of the season to get some luck from that new car. They start the rally in 4th, and apart from the engine dropping a cylinder on the final stage of this morning, it was all going to plan today. Dan Gray and Matt Rogers end stage 4 in 5th place. Dan, of course, not collecting the points, but co-driver Matt was, so it was a great start here at the final round. Richard Keane hadn't had the best of seasons this year, and this weekend, out with Tom Woodburn alongside, things were going a lot better. 6th overall at this stage, and the focus going well on the slippery stages. For Alex Allingham and Chris Williams, things couldn't be going much worse to start their day. They roll the car in the first stage and lose massive amounts of time waiting for it to be put back on its wheels, but with spectator power they do get going again. Thankfully though, they lie in 7th place at this stage, so all is not lost.
You alright?
Allingham, though, wouldn't be alone in his problems, as James Hamer and Mike Baker also end up with a bit of a moment of their own, putting the car off on this corner early in the rally. And thankfully, like Allingham, they managed to get themselves going again and end the morning in 8th position. Simon Dalton and Steve Turvey make a change from the Fiesta for this final round, trying out four-wheel drive power. And things seem to be going well as well. They settle into a steady pace in 9th. Unfortunately, we'd lose Martin and Dawn England in these morning stages. The pair crack the manifold on the Evo in stage 2 and unfortunately go no further. Rudy Lancaster marks another new driver, helping one of the championship regular co-drivers to some points this weekend, helping Bryn Mawr Pierce to 10th at this stage of the rally. And back to try and add some more rewards to the list this season was Siobhan Pugh. Sat in with Richard Edwards this weekend and lying in 11th. John Baker does his duties for co-driver Ian Jones, and that pair lying 12th as the crews go into service. Rory Jones and Tom Hughes had some good results riding on this weekend's finish, and it was a great start, 13th overall and leading the way in the class, so it was all going to plan so far. Melia Evans makes a return to the Forest after some time away, helping Karen Tomlinson to 14th place at this stage for the co-driver points. Lee Matthews and Sean Cunliffe were just looking for a finish this weekend, wanting to get to the end of the event without problems, and so far going well. They lie in 15th overall.
On that day, yes, it is.
Sean Ellis and Dan Niroda were finding things slippery, as were most, but they have no problems to report apart from that and end the morning stages in 16th place. James Watkins and Tudor Rees struggle through the morning with a puncture on the first stage and the screen missing up on stage 2. However, things were still going to plan and the pair lying 17th on the leaderboard, though the class lead was eluding them at this point. Cyril Crook and Chris Ware break up the drivers as co-driver Chris has a steady run to 18th at this stage. Andy Williams and Simon John Rogers lying 19th at this stage of the rally. Not the best of starts for the pair, but unlike many, they were still going. Quite a high attrition rate on this year's Cambrian Rally. And in 20th were Thomas Bayliss and Joe Jones, the pair just needing to get to the finish to claim some good class points this weekend. Unfortunately, this year's Cambrians seem to be claiming a lot of crews, as we've already mentioned, and these stages would see us lose Pamela Hilton, being driven this weekend by Kieran Darrington. We'd also lose John Ballinger in these early stages, Mike Wilding alongside, not managing to claim any points this weekend. And unfortunately for Nathan O'Connor and Jessica Rogan, the championship position they set themselves up in on the previous round was left without reward as they go out in this morning's stages. On to the second half of the day then, and we would unfortunately lose Andy Williams and Simon John Rogers. So of the finishers, it will be 17th position for Thomas Bayliss and Joe Jones this weekend. '16th overall would go to Cyril Crook and Chris Ware. Chris out for some Class 6 co-driver points this weekend. James Watkins and Tudor Rees end the event in 15th, a result that nets James 3rd in the Class 3 Championship this season. We would unfortunately lose Melia Evans and Karen Tomlinson, which means that co-driver Karen is unable to advance on 4th in the Class 3 Championship this weekend. Sean Ellis and Dan Neroda's finish of 14th on the leaderboard though was enough to net Sean the runner-up place in the Class 3 battle this season. But for Rory Jones and Tom Hughes, it will be the win this weekend in the class, and indeed the Class 3 win for this season for Rory, Tom having to settle for second. Richard Edwards helps Siobhan Pugh gain more points again and nets her the under-25 co-driver award and tops the points in Class 4.
Siobhan, you're collecting the trophies this year in the Welsh Rally Championship.
Well, I'm getting there quietly, aren't I? Yeah. Well, we've had a few problems today. The throttle cable decided to stick on stage 5, and the intercom wouldn't work on stage 2, so we dropped a lot of time on there, but we've made up for it in other ways.
The notes were all good?
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, he seemed happy and he listened, so that's all we can ask for, really.
Right now, you're one of the top co-drivers in Wales.
I know. I can't believe it.
What a season. Well done.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
John Baker's 11th place nets co-driver Ian Jones enough points to finish 3rd in the Class 6 co-drivers this weekend. And Simon Dalton and Steve Turvey have a good run in the new car to finish in 10th position. Not scoring points in the N3 class this weekend, of course. Simon already having that award in the bag. Richard Keane and Tom Woodburn finally get some luck out of the Focus and themselves to end the event inside the top 10 in 9th overall. Rudy Lancaster and Bryn Moore Pierce end the event in 8th. A good run for the pair here in Wales. And James Hamer and Mike Baker managed to get to the finish, despite trying many times not to. They spin on the final stage and luckily get away with it. 7th on the leaderboard for the pair at the end of the event, and James taking the under-25s trophy this weekend.
Well, that was safely the biggest moment of my life so far.
Dan Gray's 6th place result means that for Matt Rogers, it will be the top spot in the Class 3 Championship this season. Alex Allingham and Chris Williams, meanwhile, get to the end thankful of just a finish after their roll to start the morning. And the result is enough to secure the pair the top spot in the championship for 2014. Harry Gardner and Elliot Graham enjoy a good run this weekend. Ironic that things would come good on the final round, but they can take their experience forward and be ready to fight again in 2015. A great drive this weekend sees Matthew Robinson and Sam Collis lift the two-wheel drive trophy. A well-deserved victory and a fitting finish to the season for the pair here on the final round. Not out for drivers' points, of course. Matt Edwards and Will Rogers would actually be fastest this weekend, taking the number 1 spot for Will and giving him 5th overall in the championship this season. But that means that for Tom Norton and Andy Mort, it will be 2nd behind the leading co-driver, and a well-deserved maximum points finish for Tom. A great result after a calculated drive here at the Cambrian. So at the end of the final round here in Llandudno, the results look like this. And at the end of a tough season, the top of the Drivers' Championship looks like this.
Yeah, I think it's probably just been about the hardest rally I've actually done today. It was just so difficult and so rough as well, but I'm really happy to get here to the end, and I'm really happy to win the Group N Championship. So yeah, very, very happy. Competition's been fierce today. Seen people going off. There's been cars all over the show, but we've managed to get to the end, and it's been a tough rally, and it's been a tough year, but a fantastic event. The BTR has been a fantastic challenge for us, so we're very, very happy, and we'll see if we're back here again next year. We don't know yet.
Alex, Chris, once again on the Cambrian, a pretty ecstatic pair, I'm sure. Welsh champions. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Obviously, we had a bit of a tough start to the day with the roll on stage one. We thought we'd blew it. Yeah. Lucky enough, spectators pushed us back on our wheels. We've not had an easy day. It's been a very hard try-in rally. But obviously, the results come good due to the demise of Luke, obviously. Yeah. But we couldn't really be any happier. We knew it was an outside chance, but it was a possibility, and it's played into our favour.
Because I'm sure there was plenty of drama inside the car, but watching the stage times come through or not come through to begin with was pretty nail-biting from our point of view as well. So there was a time early on in this rally where you might have thought, even though Luke's out, we might not have made it as well.
Yeah, for sure. We knew after Luke had gone out, the last sort of few miles of that stage, but oh no, hang on a minute. And then we just sort of backed off for the rest of the afternoon and tried to get to the end. Obviously, we knew we still had a job to do, and that was to get to the finish, and we controlled it from there, and knew that 7th or better was enough, and we've come home 4th, so job done. It's been a really good day.
Well, it's another emotional finish right here on the seafront in Llandudno for the Cambrian Rally for Alex Allingham and Chris Williams, Welsh champions, despite a pretty dramatic day. The car was on its roof for part of the day, but it ends up on its wheels here at the finish and winning the Welsh Championship.